This is a message for safeguarding officials in the Catholic Church anywhere, especially in England and Wales. Okay. I want you to think about when you first got asked to help the Catholic Church with your professional expertise. Okay. What was the atmosphere then? It was probably one of like, well, the Catholic Church has had to reckon up to a lot of issues over the years with the Lord Nolan report, all the sex abuse cases, and it's wanting to become more and more professional. Okay. And that's all very good. Okay. Um, and so the bishops will be there humbly saying, "We want your professional help." Okay. So, but obviously, you know what I'm going to say now about Opus Dei. What did they tell you? What did they tell you exactly that they knew about this Opus Dei safeguarding scandal that I'm determined, you know, to without limit to bring into the light? Okay. Did they tell you, for example, that in 1981, the Times published a profile on Opus Dei, 12th of January 1981, which I've distributed widely to all sorts of people, detailing in great detail all the concerns of English Catholic clergy. Okay, so, or did they just say, you know what, Opus Dei, it's a hopeless case. We can't do anything. It's up to the Pope anyway. You know, Pope's got that under control. It's a part of the Catholic Church that operates in this country, but we can't do anything about. Okay, which is not true, and any due diligence would have uncovered that, and I've explained that in huge detail. Okay, not due. It's not true in canon law, and it can't be due in the law of the land either. But anyway, so do they brush you off a bit on that? Okay, what do they tell you about confessions? What did they say about the issues with confessions and private spiritual chats? You know, for adults, vulnerable adults and minors, and you know, because it's obvious to any person. I've got the minimal safeguarding experience as a teaching assistant, but obviously I've got the legal background to make sense of that, and the Catholic background to make sense of that. And it's obvious that the Catholic confession is complete safeguarding void. Okay, and it just cannot happen in the same way that it's been happening. Okay, and why has that not been dealt with? You know, I've raised the alarm on that too. Nobody wants to listen to me. Okay, so and the problem now you have is that I'm bringing into light accusations that Opus Dei priests in England, okay, are in boys' club centres, girls' club centres, in schools, appointed chaplains of schools, secretly, when it's hard to know actually that it's hard to know for anybody that the Opus Dei chaplain of St Bede's College is from Opus Dei because he doesn't even mention it on his profile, his own article. You know, they talk about the inspiration of Catholic English saints, but they somehow forget about Opus Dei. How would you find out? Anyway, the point is that they use the confessional for grooming, okay? And I'll say that till the day I die, even if nobody believes me, because anybody who knows anything about Opus Dei from the inside, especially, but also all the allegations that you've seen, knows this. They know it, okay? And they use the schools as pipelines to get boys and girls into the centres of Opus Dei for boys' club activities. I lived in a boys' club activity centre in Kelston in London. Okay, I saw boys go into the bedroom. And nothing. I'm sure there was no evidence of anything physical or sexual of the bedroom of the priest of the Opus Dei chaplain of Fidelis College. Okay, I saw people and I knew people who joined Opus Dei for life before 18. Okay, lots and lots of them. Okay, the groomers became the groomed. The lucky ones got out before when they realised what it was all about. But they're keeping quiet. Okay? And you know what this is all about? Everybody's keeping quiet. Everybody. Do you know? Not just. And they either have a remit or they don't want to cooperate. They've got other things to get on with their lives. Or oh, so annoying these Opus Dei people. You know, they cause us no end of problems. But at the end of the day, what's right? What's the right thing? Just imagine all that you know about institutional abuse in Opus Dei, not individuals. You're not going to name names, but imagine you had to do a press release based on everything that your organisation knew about it. Okay, and you just sent it to the newspapers. Okay, we've realised we needed to be clear what we've known about Opus Dei. Just write that. Even write that. Even if you don't send it, write that. Write that as a self own, as it were, as a therapeutic exercise. Write what you know and what you've told other people and how you've left it with them. If you said, Yeah, we're worried, but it's not our remit, so we just hope something can happen, okay? Because that's not what a bishop does, okay? A bishop doesn't say, well, I hope it's over to you now. I can't do any more, okay? Because that what can happen is everybody says that, and there's a void, and that's what's happened with Opus Dei. Opus Dei have carved it out. They carved it out, okay? They are 10 steps, they've been 10 steps ahead of everybody for the last 100 years. Honestly, they have. When it takes people a long time to work that out. But the problem is by the time you professional guys got involved. Okay, the bishops have been implicated for a long time, and they weren't going to tell you much either, because God knows it's hard to get through the not just the confessional seal, but the kind of the omerta, the wall of silence of bishops, and priests as well. They'll throw you under the bus before themselves. So yeah, so just have a think about that. I'm now in a situation, okay, where I've got a member of Opus Dei who runs these network of Opus Dei colleges across the world, including the St. Bede's in Manchester and Fidelis in England. He's a billionaire. He's 2000 ranked 2,400 in the world. Okay, obviously doesn't like me going on about this, so he's got her lawyer. And you know what? He's chosen a lawyer, Terence Walsh from Walsh's in Stockport, who's got no, he's the head of his firm. Neither him or his firm have got any defamation experience at all. They're a high street firm. Okay, but I know about them because they act for Opus Dei defendants in personal injury cases, including one that I was going to bring, but nobody supported me on. So, so what does this say about how Opus Dei people work? They can't even hire a billionaire can't even afford to hire a defamation specialist to bring a case against me. Okay. Do you know what? He probably wouldn't dare to do it because they might ask some questions about, oh, hang on a second, does this abuse really happen? Because the letter I've got actually is not saying it doesn't happen. It's just saying I'm dealing with it in a very unkind way. And I've asked them to come back and they said, look, I've said, look, I need to have some assurances. Let me explain patiently why there's a risk here. And I went through it in great detail. And I had to send it in a second email because I'm blocked from Fidelis and from St. Bede's College staff emails. I had to send a second email to the safeguarding officer at St. Bede's in order to get through. And then the lawyer came back to me and said, we've heard you've done that. And now you've increased the libel. I'll come back and say, look, just tell me what is going on here. Is it true or not? Okay. I need to know so that I can let go of it. And it's in the hands of professionals. But you know what? No professional's been willing to take responsibility for it or to say, look, leave it with me. We need to get on with it. We need to bust some balls here. We need to get action on it. And I won't let that drop. And I'll keep you updated so that you don't have to keep worrying about it. So you can get on with your life because you haven't got any protection from your employers at all. You've got no lawyers, nothing. Okay. Just think about your whistleblowing policies. Okay. You've got protection from that. Even if you end up in a court of law because you've blown the whistle, you have protection. Do you have associations that will get you legal advice? I don't. I don't. I have to pay for my own legal defense. And I've hired specialist defamation lawyers for that purpose. Okay. Who's coming to help me? Who's coming to say, well, Michael, maybe these different allegations need to be investigated. Oh, well, look, oh, we heard it's going to law. We'll come and help you now. No, you know what? I've got a letter from Keogh's solicitor saying, please don't contact any bishops at all. We can't help with your claim anymore. And it's not to do with my claim. No, they're being deceptive. It's to do with these bigger allegations that are going on. So everybody's running scared, okay? And nobody's blowing the whistle, okay? So we imagine all that information comes out, all of what you know now, okay? All the stuff that I've published everywhere online comes to the attention of MPs. God knows what they've known but sat on, you know. So just think, what has anybody got the balls or the guts to stand up? Because if they don't, I will be in court. It'll be in court, and I'll publish everything, even if it's a breach of some silly regulation. Even my lawyers say you can't do that. Okay, and then we have to stop acting for you. I will. Okay, I'll use that court process to publish to the world absolutely everything I've done. Okay, and if that doesn't get through, God help you. God help you. You know what I'm saying about Opus Dei is true. You know that, or at least you've got very strong suspicions that nobody's allayed. Okay, so so that's the role of a bishop. Okay, the role of a bishop is to rescue the lost sheep. Okay, rescue the lost sheep. So you know somebody's lost. You don't turn a blind eye. You don't pass by on the other side. You don't if somebody says, oh, I'll deal with it for you, you say, okay, well, let me know how it goes, okay? Because you don't. Because imagine if it's your son, imagine you've got a son or a daughter in Opus Dei, and you know what's going on, okay? And you can't do anything for them. How 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 much would you harass a bishop or a safeguarding officer to do something, okay? So when you're angry with me for harassing you lot, okay, just think about that. If it was your kid, ask the same of the bishops. If it was their relative in Opus Dei, would they say, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it? Or would they do something? Because you know what they would do? They'd probably do it all in the background. Okay, if it's a priest or bishop, they'll do it all in the background, and they wouldn't give a shit about the other people who were less vulnerable, who are less well connected, like me. I was given up for adoption on the day of my birth for 6 months for Catholic moral reasons. It's been fucking hard getting through my life. Promise you, really, really hard. I'm not going to leave other people in the dust forever. Okay, and if that means bringing down the whole fucking Catholic safeguarding system, so be it. Okay, but I know you do lots of good jobs for other people. I just want you to get yourself regulated by the government. Okay, say, look, we fucked up here. We can't sort this out ourselves. Okay, and come clean and obviously work on a transition that keeps everybody's jobs. Okay, keeps everybody's jobs and works with the government and external safeguarding advisors because you need that. Okay, and if all these threats from me, sorry for making threats, okay, result in Mr. Arrufat Pujol withdrawing his defamation case, okay, well, they'll use that. I'll use that to publish it to a wider audience, okay, in both cities, Manchester and London, okay, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people will be united, across the city, across the country, even in condemnation of the Catholic Church and every part of it for not dealing with what is known to be child grooming and grooming of vulnerable adults. Okay, in confessions, in Opus Dei centres, in Opus Dei colleges, and not just here, around the world too. Okay, so let's wise up. Okay, I've got a meeting with a police officer during the week as well.